So I just closed my partner's Wells Fargo checking account this past weekend, and I want to share with you guys why we decided to close that account, where we're moving, and how easy the process is to do, just in case you've ever thought about leaving Wells Fargo for another bank. And, if you're in the process of leaving any bank for another bank, I know it can be such a huge pain in the butt, especially if you use that bank for everything. But I think that it's so important sometimes to think about leaving a bank and not get too, I guess, content with a bank, knowing that the bank doesn't have your best interests in mind. So, hey guys, if you are new here, my name is Susan Velez, and on this channel, we talk about making money, saving money, investing money, and taking care of our health so that we can catch up for retirement, especially if you are late to saving for retirement like me. So the number one reason that we moved from Wells Fargo to a credit union, guys, my partner opened up a bank account at a local credit union because we read this article online about 3 months ago, and it was talking about nation's largest bank, Chase, threatens to charge for checking accounts if government caps fees. So under the proposed government regulations, credit card late fees could be capped at $8 and overdraft fees could be capped at $3. So once we read this, guys, we thought automatically, we just assumed that if Chase gets away with charging fees and doing away with their free checking accounts, now I don't know exactly if they're going to do away with their free checking accounts, but if they're going to be charging fees, then that means that the other big banks like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, are going to probably be next in line. So now you can say whatever you want. I don't know if it's definitely going to happen. I'm not trying to scare you, but I do want you to know that if one big bank gets away from charging fees, their customers' fees, chances are these other banks are going to do it too, because we've seen it all the time. Whenever one company does something and people are willing to pay for it, there's other companies that follow right in line because they figure if I can get people to pay me for this thing, then the other companies think, well, if this person is getting away with it, I'm going to get away with it too. I'm going to do it too. Why would I not take profits? And first of all, I don't want to get into any type of political things. Do I think that capping fees on overdraft and credit cards, do I think it's the right thing? I do, guys. Just to get a little bit off the topic of why we switched from Wells Fargo to a credit union. If you have done any type of research, you know that the credit card debt in the United States is outrageous. Apparently, people are carrying balances on their credit card. So I do think that letting a credit card company charge you 28% interest rate or 28% interest or more on a credit card just for carrying a balance is extremely high. I think that it should be illegal. I mean, because a lot of people, I'm not saying that, I know people shouldn't be carrying balances on their credit card, but the truth is life is tough. Sometimes you have to put something on your credit card because you might not have a emergency fund, or if something happens, you might have to use a credit card. We've been there. We've all been there. But if you have a balance on a credit card and you're trying to pay it off, making the minimum payments, it can take you forever, guys. It's going to take you forever. And that's why I say that if you have to use a credit card, make sure that you have the money in your checking account before you charge anything on that plastic card, because you don't want to end up in credit card debt, because trying to get out of credit card debt can be one of the hardest things to do. We've done it. We've been there. And I can tell you, making minimum payments on a credit card is probably one of the worst things you can do for your financial future, especially if you're trying to catch up for retirement. So anyway, that's one of the reasons that we switched banks, because we felt like if Chase was going to start charging more fees, chances are it wouldn't be long before Wells Fargo did it. So we switched from Wells Fargo to a credit union, and it was a pain in the butt. And I can see why people don't like to switch banks, because if you use that bank for everything, for paying your bills, it gets your direct deposit automatically put into your bank account. It can be a pain because before you switch banks, you have to switch your direct deposit. You have to make sure that you switch all your payments. Everything that comes out of that bank has to be switched over. And then before you can close that account, you have to make sure that you have no pending transactions, and you have to get that balance down to zero, especially if you're closing it online. Now, you probably could go into the branch, close that account out, and then walk out with a check that they, write you, a cashier's check, or just cash that they give you back if you have a balance in that bank account. But for us, we did it online, so we had to get that account down to zero and then close it online. And if you ever close an account online, it's very easy to do, especially in Wells Fargo. All you do is in the dashboard, you go to account summary, and then this whole menu will populate, and then you just hit close account, and it'll tell you, walk you through the whole process step by step on how to close your account. You'll still have access to your account for 90 days where you can download your statements or whatever you need. And then after that, I believe that you won't have access anymore. So if you need any statements, you want to make sure that you download them in 90 days in the 90-day window frame that they give you to access your account, or whatever time frame they give you to access your account, because once they close your account permanently and you lose all access, you probably won't have access to those statements anymore. So make sure that you download whatever you need to do. So now that account is closed, guys, we are at a credit union, and we chose the credit union because, well, first of all, they don't have any fees, and they didn't have any minimum balance requirements. So as long as that credit union is good, we are going to stick with it. We switched everything over. We're pretty happy with the move. And the only thing is that, they do have fees if you are pushing money. So like, for instance, guys, we automatically push money into our high yield savings account at Goldman Sachs. Every time we get paid, we push money in there. It might not be a lot, but we try to put money into our emergency fund every month or every pay period. If you push it from the credit union, you will get charged a fee. However, if you go to Goldman Sachs and you pull the money from your credit union or from the credit union, you won't get charged a fee. So there's a lot of things that you have to make sure that you understand. Are there any fees that the bank or the credit union charges? Are there any minimum balance requirements that you have to maintain? And really, those are the only two things that we were looking for: fees and then minimum balances. Because as you guys know, we don't keep a lot of money in our checking account. We try to just keep the amount that we need for the bills and then just a little bit of a cushion. Most of our money gets pushed into investments and then the high yield savings accounts, because these credit unions and traditional banks don't pay a lot of interest. So we don't really care about what the checking account pays for interest, because that's not where we put our money. The checking account at the credit union is just used for the direct deposit, where we can put the money in the direct deposit and then disperse the money to the checks and then wherever else we put the money into. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to share this video with you guys, share with you guys why we decided to close the Wells Fargo account, why we chose to go with a credit union, and then what we look for when we decided to do away with the Wells Fargo and then go to the credit union. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are looking to switch banks, or if you are happy with your bank, just keep an eye on whether or not your bank is thinking about increasing their fees. Like I said, if Chase is thinking about increasing their fees and they are a big bank, if you bank with a big bank like Bank of America or Wells Fargo, make sure that they don't increase your fees. And one of the best ways to do this, guys, is to check your bank account regularly. It's so easy to log into your bank account. If you notice any unusual fees, any unusual withdrawals, pending account or transactions that you didn't make, you want to make sure that you contact them as quickly as possible to find out what's going on, what new fees you are responsible for. And if they do implement fees, guys, I recommend leaving that bank, because in today's day and time, guys, there's no reason that you should be paying for fees just to have a bank account or a savings account. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Click on that subscribe button so that you can be notified whenever I put out a new video. And also, guys, make sure you join me on my journey to reaching a net worth of $500,000 so that we can retire with dignity. And until next time, guys, I will talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye.